My name is Alex Vetter. I'm the marketing manager here at EasyMorph, and we're thrilled to having you join us for today's EasyMorph community meetup. Please note the beginning of this meetup will be recorded, and then we'll switch to a community discussion, which will not be recorded, and you can unmute your mics at that point. So today we'll briefly go over a quick overview of what we're talking about, and then we'll go into what's new in EasyMorph in 2026 and beyond, where our team will share what the next year will look like and what we're focusing on next. And then we'll go ahead and open it up to a Q&A and open discussion. So again, feel free to leave comments or questions in chat throughout the event, and we'll also unmute your microphones during the open discussion, so feel free to speak at that point. If you haven't been on any of these before, we have two of our in-house experts joining us. First, we have Dmitry Gudkov, who is our founder at EasyMorph, and then we have Matt Fryer, our technology evangelist. Both have over 25 years of experience in data and the analytics industry, and they have decades of experience helping teams collaborate and simplify their data-related processes. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Dmitry.
Thank you, Alex. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So it's a big talk today, and I will be speaking fast because there is a lot to cover and many announcements, many new and exciting things on our roadmap. In general, the idea to have this meetup and share our vision for EasyMorph appeared after we published this important blog post on our website. Our mission has evolved. You can, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend checking it out on our website. Briefly, in that blog post, I explained our new vision for our mission, so what EasyMorph is doing and where we are going. In short, you know EasyMorph as a data preparation tool, as a data automation platform with multiple capabilities for ETL, for API. And it was like that for almost a decade. But now we see EasyMorph from a different perspective, and we see our mission from a different perspective. And of course, our roadmap, product roadmap, and our vision reflects that new mission. Our new mission is expanded. It doesn't mean that we forget about what we did previously. Rather than the old EasyMorph, it remains as the foundation of what we do, and for everything new that we build on top of that. While the new EasyMorph has a lot of focus on organizing work of teams around data, because we see that there is a critical shortage of tools and good ways to how to organize work with data for different teams, especially given that teams frequently combine people with the different skills, different levels of technical skills, especially given that teams now have to operate in a very diverse environments with different types of applications, databases, cloud APIs, AI, then different tools, different scriptings, different business applications. So it's a very complex environment with lots of very disconnected data sets, and how to organize work, how to make teams effective in how they obtain data, automate their data-related routines, automate their work in general. We see a lot of opportunity here and a lot of need. So, and that's why we see our mission now on a grander scale, where we target not just data automation but also work automation and collaboration. From that perspective, so we have two major directions for development of EasyMorph. EasyMorph sits in between business professionals and data teams. That's where it is historically, and that's why our expansion or our development will be going in two directions. On one hand, we will continue developing EasyMorph as a data automation platform, and a lot of new and exciting features will appear in this regard. On the other hand, we will extend EasyMorph more and more towards business professionals, making it easier for them to obtain data, to work with data, to share data, to collaborate on day-to-day issues, to create a single context for a team in which the team would operate and in which the team would make decisions about whatever goal or function the team has. We will talk a lot about different features and capabilities that we plan or we would like EasyMorph to have over the next, not just this year, but over the next several years. And to help you understand better our priorities and our roadmap, these features will be marked with color labels, where the green label means the features on the short-term roadmap, and you can expect it to be released in let's say in the first half of 2026. Features with the blue label are in the works. They are either designed or about to be designed, but that development hasn't started. So, and they most likely appear either in the middle of the year or closer to the end of the year. And finally, long-term features, they will not appear this year. We keep them in mind, we plan for them, but development will start probably either closer to the end of this year or next year. So those features will probably appear somewhere next year. So that's the legend. Now let's talk about what exactly is going to happen. So one of the most important features, which is already in the works, and we expect it to be released in version 6 when it becomes available somewhere in February. So what are custom actions? Well, it's a pretty big deal for EasyMorph because it allows bringing automation and transformation on the next abstraction level. As you know, EasyMorph has many built-in actions, almost 200 different actions that can be used for all kinds of transformations and automations. But every organization still has their own organization-specific computations or transformations or actions, such as, I don't know, formatting phone addresses, or verifying street addresses, or maybe when you have product SKUs and you need to format them into a specific way, or you maybe need to do a lookup. Let's say you have a list of SKUs and you need to do a lookup versus some internal internal data system. Operations like that can be wrapped into custom actions, which then will be able to you will be able to use them very much as regular actions, just dragging from a list in the sidebar and dropping in the middle of your workflow, and that will just magically work. In the beginning, we will support two custom actions, and these actions, they will use catalog assets. So this will require EasyMorph server, or as we will call it soon, EasyMorph hub. It will require the hub, and it will require Explorer. But once you have it, you will be able to design assets such as computed data sets, pre-computed data sets, workflow assets, and those assets can be inserted into EasyMorph workflows as native actions. And it will work seamlessly, just as you would expect from an action. So these actions will be shared across your team. Another convenient feature of custom actions is that you will be able to design your own transformations for, let's say, predictive analytics, advanced analytics. If you have certain AI-powered transformations or capabilities or automations, you will be able to pack them as custom actions that your business users can use just like regular action by dragging and dropping in a workflow. And of course, at some point, you will be able to use Python under the hood. So those custom actions, they can be powered with Python instead of workflows. So, and Python will be first-class citizen in many other parts of EasyMorph. So custom actions, what it will look like from the user perspective. There will be a selector, standard actions, Explorer assets in the sidebar. And when we switch to Explorer assets, you will see similar tabs. In the beginning, it will be just two, import and workflow. Eventually, we will add export and transformation. So they will be available here. You will be able to pick, to grab an custom action, which is an asset, and drag and drop it and insert it in the workflow. In the when you click this custom action in the sidebar for the action properties, you will see the parameters of the asset. And you will be able to assign these parameters also with the workflow parameters or first column values, again as you would do it currently with any EasyMorph action. Let's keep going. A lot to talk about. Also, we designed this meetup in a way so that we also demonstrate the existing features as they are currently before we continue explaining what will be added to them. So that will help you to refresh what EasyMorph has currently to understand better what's coming next. So in these cases, I will pass the microphone to Matt, who will do a brief demo just to refresh in memory of what we are talking about. So here, Matt, can you please remind what Explorer is before we continue?
I will certainly try. So as Dmitry said, Explorer really is the sort of grouping of functionality that brings capabilities from EasyMorph to business users, not just data teams. And it really fosters that collaboration between the data people in an organization or a business and the rest of the business, who ultimately are data people because they need to consume or use that data or interact with it somehow. Explorer, as it stands today, is made up of two main pieces of functionality. The first is what we call boards, and boards are essentially interactive, customized home pages. They can be used for just about anything. They could be a team or a specific function, or even an individual person. And we can create, therefore, boards and customize them to suit the needs of that purpose. Boards are made up of lots of sections, and there are lots of different sections available to us today. And as Dmitry will point out, we'll be adding more in the future. Today, we can add boards sections of lots of different types, from tables of data to metrics, as we can see here. But as well as that, we can start to add in other capabilities, such as shortcuts to run workflows that may retrieve data or may also perform some action, update data, interact with the system. We can provide links to other systems, etc. And a really important sort of feature within boards is a section which we call issues. Issues is a simple issue tracker. It allows us to create tickets or issues for just about any purpose we want. And we can add to those issues both manually, so I can manually create a new issue and configure it, but I can also create issues from EasyMorph workflows. And so issues can be created automatically when something goes wrong or we detect a data quality issue. And that issue can then be assigned to somebody. It can be monitored through various stages as we're progressing that issue and working on it. And ultimately, we can also attach items to an issue so that they aren't just some text telling us something that's been found, a problem, but also we can attach attachments to the issue, and those attachments can be lots of different types. Ultimately, any type that is supported by the catalog, which is the next other area of EasyMorph Explorer. And those attachments can be used by the person that's assigned the ticket to easily find the problem records or to easily link to the specific part of a system that displays that error so that they can easily find the problem, investigate, and hopefully resolve the issue for us. So as I said, the other main part of Explorer is the catalog, and the catalog is essentially like a data catalog that we'd find in many business tools or data tools, but it's quite different in many ways. The first is that it forms many of those building blocks that make up boards. And so the catalog supports lots of different types of assets. The most obvious are data assets and tables of data. So I can create tables of data, whether they be pre-computed, as we refer to them. They're pre-calculated tables sat waiting for the user to access them. But I can also create computed assets as well. And when I retrieve those assets, I could also prompt the user to input parameters that I find in the workflows that generate that data set to give back to the user. And so they can enter parameters. They can be any type of parameter that is supported by an EasyMorph workflow, and the workflow can use that information, whether it be a start and end date, a specific account in this instance, and they can go and source that data from the underlying system or wherever they need to go and bring that data back to a user presented to them for them to use. And of course, they can start to do all of the things we're used to being able to do in EasyMorph. We can filter, add filters, and interact with that data. And if we create charts in our analysis view, they also appear in this view as well. And of course, users can download that data and get it back out, whether it be in an EasyMorph dataset file or a more generic format like a CSV or a Microsoft Excel or any formats that support for major BI systems as well. So the catalog really allows us to add lots of data assets, and in their individuality, they are very powerful, but we can also start to link data assets together. And so as we can see here, I have created some additional commands, links within this data asset, and using those, I can go and do other things, whether it be return another data set, or in this instance, I can raise one of those issues on an EasyMorph board. And I can even link through to different files and data types that are available as well to ultimately do just about anything that you can imagine that you could do with an EasyMorph workflow. We can create a command to make that possible to users within a catalog asset. So a catalog asset isn't just a single entity. They become a sort of network, a spider web of all the information and data available. And to enrich that data that we add to our catalog, we could also add lots of other types of assets. We saw some of the metrics on our board, but we can also add folders of files linked so that people can easily find them. We could link to URLs to web pages, whether they be somewhere on the internet, some important useful information, or to a specific business system that we also use. So the catalog and boards make up Explorer today, and they really are a powerful thing as they stand, but we've got a lot planned for the future for them as well. So I'll hand back to Dimitri, who can tell us more about that.
Thank you, Matt. This is you could see what the Explorer looks like currently. So what we are going to add to Explorer, and the list is long. Well, first we will be adding more asset types, and that is already in the works, and that will appear soon. So new asset types will include state. State, it's like metric but with a text label. Control, that's an interesting asset type. It will allow changing, so it will look like toggle switches or checkboxes or drop lists or calendar entries, and those will be able to write into shared memory. So you can build, you can use a board, some kind of like a control panel where you can switch on and off and change values in shared memory. And of course, well, changes in shared memory may in turn be used in workflows. So let's say if you have a nuclear reactor somewhere, then you can put a control on your board, like, okay, switch it off, and then you change this toggle and your nuclear reactor goes off. That's one very practical use case. Details will be an interesting asset. It will simply pop up a small window and will display in vertically a certain record. So it will look like a key value list. With the values for specific, like let's say you have a customer and then you want to see some details for that customer. So this asset will display a pop-up in both desktop and server, and with some specific additional properties or attributes of that customer. Exporter, it will be a new asset type that will receive an input data set and write it in some other some external systems, either through an API call or somehow else. Exporters will be available as custom actions, so you will be able to use them in your workflows. The same is true for the transformer asset that will receive a data set and it will return a data set. So again, it's intended for use in as a custom action in workflows, but also it will be possible to use transformers in as general commands in assets. So for instance, you work with an asset and then you want to transform that asset in certain way. Let's say you want to add a column with some clustering information. So you call this transformer, and transformer adds a column with an ID of a cluster, for just one example. Or you want to apply some AI logic to your current data set. So that's transformer. New board sections. Our goal is to make boards a replacement for SharePoint eventually. So we will add in a section for managing and sharing files, and also another section will be to browse assets in a particular collection. So we will be renaming asset directories to asset collections in the future. And in general, we would like to make boards as much collaborative as possible. So other board sections may appear in the future, such as maybe a scratch pad where you can leave short notes and maybe even attach random assets right to this board section, or it can be a calendar, or it can be I don't know, something like a to-do list for the team. So we are still thinking what else can it be, but if you have ideas how to make boards more useful for collaboration, feel free to share your suggestions on the community forum. Issues will keep developing as well. First of all, issues will get custom properties, and those custom properties can be used for automation. So things like order number, or maybe customer ID, or maybe some properties flags you will be able to specify them as custom properties in issues. And again, the custom properties will be linked to particular issue type. So let's say when you create an issue of a specific type, it will be automatically created with specific custom properties, which will be quite convenient. To make issues more useful for collaboration, we will be adding checklists somewhere in the middle of this year. And later we will also add the transition state where you can, one issue can transition from state A to state B to state C only in a graph of transitions, and certain transitions may require approvals. And this is how we are going to build in approvals mechanism into issues and into EasyMorph in general. Another interesting addition to Explorer will be Playground. Well, this is big. This is big. So Playground, what's Playground? Playground, you will see it in screenshots in a moment. Playground, it's like a simplified workflow editor right in the browser. So people will be able to transform data in one table. So in the beginning, it will be just one table. Think like a sandbox in your workflow. So you have one table, and you can apply different actions to change data in your sandbox. So Playground will have multiple sandboxes in which you will be able to import data and apply certain transformations to it right in the browser without needing EasyMorph desktop. So that's a big feature. And by the way, a demo version of Playground will be also available on our website. So anybody on the internet will be able to transform data right in the browser without creating an account or something. So this is what are Playgrounds. A few more things. Python will be possible to use Python as alternative to workflows. And we're also thinking about adding the ability to share commonly used assets between spaces. Again, this might be useful for custom actions where certain actions and transformations are available across multiple spaces. Now a few screenshots. As you could see in Matt's demo, well, the current UI is quite basic, but that will change. So here is, you can see what the new server, or as we will call it, hub UI will look like. So you see, it's a very different look. It's way more polished, way more professional, if you wish. So what you see in the screenshot is a catalog collection. So collections will show up like this on the top, and these are catalog assets below. A few more screenshots. This is a new look of boards. So this is how boards will look like. With here you can see a few sections. What else? This is a screenshot of the new issues section in a board. So this is a board, and this is a section with issues. Again, you will see, you can see that it looks very different. Now, another screenshot. It's the Playground, and look at that. It's very similar to what you see in desktop. A list of available actions on the left side, which you can drag and drop on the table, and you can select an action here and see your data set right here. And it will be as fast as in desktop, so it will be a desktop-like experience, very fast, instant recalculation, everything that you like in EasyMorph, it will be available here. And it will work right in the browser in the hub, and on our website as well as a demo version. A new look for analysis view on hub. As you can see, well, filters, charts, everything remains, but it will have a more convenient, better thought out, better designed look. And that's it. So now let's talk about tasks. And here again, to remind you what's already available with tasks. I will give a minute to Matt just to remind you what we have already.
Thank you. So tasks are kind of the founding feature of EasyMorph Server. So they've been around since the beginning, and any of you with EasyMorph Server will already be quite familiar with them. Tasks underwent quite a transformation through the last year, going from just simple automation of existing workflows to something much more advanced and setting the foundations for what we're going to do in the future. Quickly then, tasks are very easily to create. I can take any EasyMorph workflow, select it as a task I want to create. I can then set up any parameters, etc., of that task, of that workflow if I want to, and then I can make that task run both manually if I want to just simply run the task, or I can also set up triggers. Now, historically, these tasks could be run on a schedule, and that schedule was quite powerful. It had all of the kind of current features and functionality you would expect to be able to run those workflows every hour, every day, every Tuesday at 5 o'clock, etc. But in 2025, we added lots more capabilities, and we have a lot more planned in the future. Other task triggers that were added include the file event trigger, so we can monitor a folder of files, and should a new file appear or a file be modified or deleted, then the task will be triggered by EasyMorph, and again it can run to take necessary action. The email received trigger is very similar, monitoring an email inbox. So again, new emails are received. We can now trigger workflows to run the minute a new email is received to process that email if needed. And similarly with databases, we can also monitor database tables for new records being added to those tables, and then run a workflow that processes that table to bring in that new data and add it to wherever we want, or do with it whatever we need. We also introduced the first of what we're calling the cloud triggers. Now, we're referring to them as cloud triggers because they will need a connection to EasyMorph Gateway to operate. And the first of those cloud triggers is the Dropbox folder trigger. Very much like the file event trigger, it monitors a folder in Dropbox instead, and should a new file appear or be deleted or modified, then we can trigger a workflow again. We have lots more triggers planned. Dimitri will tell us a bit more about that in a second. As well, one other little feature I wanted to point out, because it's often overlooked, and that is once I start scheduling or creating tasks for my workflows, they can very quickly become a very long list, and they can become kind of ungainly and difficult to find what we want. One of the things that sometimes is overmissed is that we can add a group to our tasks, and that group, either we can type a new one or we can pick an existing one. And when we do, our tasks will then be all of them defined within those groups. I have a sales group, I have a finance group, I have my new group I created, and they can help us to find. And one nice feature of adding tasks to groups is that back on my EasyMorph server boards, I have the opportunity to add a section of tasks, and I can pick one of those groups. So I could add my new group to my board. And again, it just makes this really easy for users to find tasks so that they can rerun a task if they need to without having to come to the data team to action that every time. So again, I'll pass back to Dimitri. He'll tell us a bit more about what's coming for tasks in the future.
For tasks, we have also a number of interesting developments. Well, first of all, global notifier. So, and it's related not only to tasks, but in any computation in general, including Explorer. So now you will, no matter if you're currently, if you have currently open tasks or file manager or Explorer or any other feature of the hub, you will be notified if a task fails. So you'll see there will be global notifier about any failed or successfully completed computations. Then we will have more triggers. Very soon, 2 more triggers will be added: SharePoint list and the SharePoint folder, monitor changes in both folders and lists. It's a cloud trigger, so it will require a gateway connection. One more trigger, web response changed. So for instance, you will be able to monitor if a website is up or down, or if you started some computation in some API and whether this computation is ready, or maybe you will be able to collect some metrics from a website. So there is a website, and when some number or some text on that website changes, then it will trigger your workflow. Also, delayed events, that's an advanced feature. It will be available in the future, where you will be able to make tasks to schedule computations for a later time. For instance, you have a customer and you need to send that customer an email in 2 days or in 1 week. So you will be scheduled that right from a workflow. As well, Python will be used as first-class citizen in tasks as an alternative to workflows. So you will be able to create a task that uses a Python script, not an EasyMorph workflow for computation. And finally, a big feature that we will add over the course of this year is orchestration. So as you know, tasks currently you can define master workflows that trigger other workflows in the necessary sequence. We will improve on that, and instead of creating master workflows, we will add a mechanism to create orchestration flows. And those orchestration flows, they will be in a certain way EasyMorph agnostic. So for instance, you will be able to put in one orchestration flow a Python script that triggers, let's say, a Tableau prep flow, and then after that it triggers maybe some Windows shell script on a remote machine, or you can even SSH the remote machine and run the bash script there. So we want to create something that will be universally usable, even without EasyMorph workflows. So anything that calculates, let's say you have a stored procedure, and then after stored procedure, you trigger a Python script. So you will be able to build orchestration flows from different types of blocks, and EasyMorph server task will be just one type of the block. Other blocks will include stored procedures, let's say Tableau flows or Power BI flows, or ClickUps, or PowerShell scripts and whatnot. So, well, it will be a library of different built-in blocks. So big feature, big capability, and I hope it will be very useful. Second, so let's look at screenshots. Well, this is the new look of the tasks in the server UI. Tasks will have two views. This is the card view, which is similar to what we have currently, but we will also introduce back the list view, which some people prefer more. So it will be possible to switch between the two views. We are a bit short on time, so I will speed up our demonstration. File manager will mostly remain as it is. Minor additions like raising issue with a file or folder in one click, or creating an asset with a file or folder in one click, that will be added soon. We will skip the demo part here as we are running out of time a bit. I will add that the new user interface will look like that for files, and that's for the public folder. There will be two tabs: the public folder here and the remote location there. And you will be able to drag and drop files again from a remote location to the public folder, and the other way around, right in the files here. Similarly, how it can be done in desktop. The next is web tasks, and that's a big story. So currently, web tasks are already available. And Matt, can you do a quick demonstration of the web tasks so that we can continue from that point?
I will do. Let me share my screen again. So whether you know it or not, you have all used a web task in the recent past. Web tasks are really a way for EasyMorph server to interact with people outside of your organization or within your organization to collect information from them. And you all used one to sign up for this community meetup. We had a web task created in one of our EasyMorph servers, and you all use that web task to sign up by entering your name and signed up for this this meetup. And that web task ran a workflow in EasyMorph which sent you the calendar invite and let us know that you registered. Web tasks can be used for lots of different things. They don't just need to be used for kind of simple things. Because they're running an EasyMorph workflow, they can collect just about any information that you can create a parameter in an EasyMorph workflow for. So one of my favorites is that you can create file upload parameters in EasyMorph workflows, and using those file upload parameters, we can add a web task to collect that information. So I have a very simple web task here that collects various types of parameters, including a file upload. So this can be great for collecting files, whether they be order forms or latest stock lists or whatever, from people outside of your organization, all powered by EasyMorph using EasyMorph Gateway. I'll pass back to Dimitri to tell us what else is coming to the web tasks next.
Thank you, Matt. By the way, in February, we will hold a webinar on data ingestion, and we will explain in more detail how to use web tasks, since it's one of the channels through which you can organize data ingestion in your organization. So what's coming for web tasks in the future? In the short term, web tasks will remain as they are. However, our longer term vision for web tasks is to develop them into a tool for collaboration with external people. So Explorer, as you know it, it's intended for internal collaboration. However, web tasks will evolve into a similar mechanism, similar to Explorer. Maybe we will call it Web Explorer eventually. And it will be intended for collaboration with people outside of your organization. Things like file sharing, tracking issues, exposing metrics, providing tools for data analysis or quick data retrieval and data transformation for people outside of organizations. This is envisioned for web tasks. What's next? Let's keep going. Webhooks. So webhooks, that's another capability of the gateway. Again, we will skip the demo here. There is a lot of material about webhooks on the community forum. You can read all the instructions and examples there. Webhooks will undergo a small change. So currently, webhooks are configured in the administrator's user interface of the server. It will be moved to the user-facing part of the server's interface. Next, a big deal. What's new for server security? Well, the first and the biggest will be granular security. Granular security. So currently, as you know, you can configure user roles. We will skip the demo here as well. You will configure user roles for people, but user roles define what people can or cannot do from a functional perspective, like their capabilities. User roles, for now, they do not define whether people can access certain objects, such as tasks or assets in a space. And this will be the role for granular security. So we will introduce so-called permits. And if an asset or a task has an applied permit, then the user must have all the necessary permits to access this object, this task or asset or dataset or connector. We want to make them watertight, meaning that if a dataset requires a permit, then there is no way how someone without a permit can obtain can have access to this dataset. It's a complex task, so we are still discussing ways how to implement it. But in this or that form, we plan the first iteration of permits to be available this year. It will only be available in the Enterprise Edition. Then more external IDPs. So currently you can use Active Directory and Microsoft Entra ID as external IDPs. We will be adding several more. First of all, the work is already in progress to add OpenID Connect and Keycloak as an external IDP. We will see if it works with Okta. Some people use Okta, so that might be compatible with Okta, but we'll have to verify it separately. Then using Google accounts, Microsoft accounts, and eventually using SAML for a single sign-on. Finally, for security, a big change is coming as well. Currently, as you know, connectors, if you configure a connector, it can be used by anyone in that space. We are looking to design, to introduce a scope for connectors, where some connectors will be per space, but some connectors will work as per user connectors, meaning that, well, the connector exists, it has a name, it's available for everyone, but the authentication part will depend on each user. So each user will have to authenticate this connector personally in order to use it in workflows. So that will provide better security with more granular access. What else? What's new in desktop? Custom actions, we've discussed them briefly. We will update the connector manager. Its modernization is long overdue, so we will change. We will do that as well. Python modules. So in addition to regular workflow modules, we will add Python modules where you will be able to write Python script right in EasyMorph, and that script will be executed as a regular workflow. So when the workflow calls or iterates another workflow, it doesn't matter if that other workflow is a visual workflow or a Python workflow. It will work seamlessly. In the long-term vision, we also think about push-down modules. Push-down modules, this will be workflows specifically for SQL sources, SQL databases, where the workflow is translated into an SQL query that is executed in the database. So you will be able to push down certain calculations. It will be a limited subset of transformations for sure, but you will be able to push them down on the database level and execute them in the database. So if you work with big data sources, it will be a convenient tool to work with big data systems. This year, we want to introduce formatted Excel reports. That's a big deal, but we are inclined to have that done. Where in EasyMorph Desktop you will be able to define or to design an Excel report, and it will be generated programmatically from a workflow with formatting and with charts as native Excel charts. So this is important. Eventually, a simple technique will be used to improve PDF reports already available on desktop. And a small but useful capability in the future, we would like to add support for external files and projects, where you can link external files in a project. And if you publish a project to the server, to the hub, let's learn the new term. When you publish the project to the hub, it will publish the external files as well as one package. Finally, what's coming next in the hub? These are long-term features. These are big features. So I'll touch them briefly just to indicate the direction of our thinking and where it's all going. Rather lesser feature is user homepage. Every user will get their own homepage with their favorite assets, favorite boards, with a list of all assigned issues to that particular user available from one homepage. A big feature will be added eventually, maybe not this year, but next year. It's a support for data quality or validation mechanism. It will include custom rules. These rules will be organized into data contracts. And those data contracts will be applied with a single action in workflows, or they will be applied as a step in an orchestration flow. Will be a block in orchestration flow, apply data contract. And we also envision that these data contracts will have automated tests, so that you have a series of data sets, all of which will either have to pass tests, or all tests must fail on these test data sets to ensure that all those validation rules and data contracts they work as intended. Another big feature will be topics, which is a pub/sub service with messages published in channels. This will have two use cases. First, as a way to create a context in boards, and they create a context for assets. So it will be user-facing feature. The other use case, topics might be used. We are still thinking about this. Might be used for creating a queue of tasks, or a queue of requests that need to be processed. So that would be another option. Finally, two big capabilities that are envisioned for the future. Clustering. So since EasyMorph Hub will become more and more business critical for organizations, especially with the active use of Explorer and collaboration. So we anticipate that there will be a need to induce higher availability, and that's why we are already working on clustering. So currently we are in the design process, in the design phase for clustering, and hopefully the first, somewhat limited, but the first step in this direction will be done this year. So we will support something like basic cold mirror clustering, somewhere this year. That's the vision. And then one of the big missing capabilities in EasyMorph is the ability to edit data in database tables, maybe some other sources. Partially, it is already possible with commands in assets, but that's probably less convenient. So we are thinking that maybe someday we will add a native capability to edit data in tables, and the work name for this feature is EasyBase. So maybe yes, maybe no, it's not confirmed yet, but that reflects the direction of our thinking.